Hi, this is Karen Siegel-Propus, and I am going to talk to you today about how you can maximize your energy during the spring season. There are actually really good reasons why people get inspired to start spring cleaning this time of year, and you might be surprised that traditional Chinese medicine, or I'm going to refer to that as TCM, has some wonderful explanations. According to TCM, spring is the time of year when our creative juices start to flow. We feel more energy for cleaning and we experience a sense of growth and renewal. It all makes sense, however, if you look at the seasons and what happens in nature. Consider nature during the previous seasons. Here in Michigan, we don't often have a late summer, as many southern states do. But late summer, when we do have it, tends to be damp and bring rainy, heavy energy with it. Well, because the elements can affect our physical health, damp, rainy energy can manifest in the body with achiness, with some swelling, and a sense of heaviness. Autumn or fall can also come early for Michiganders, and that tends to bring drier, windier weather. That kind of weather can affect the lungs, and as I mentioned in my last Facebook Live presentation, when we inhale and take a deep breath in, the lungs being the most tender organ, that is, they are the most exposed to the external world and the environment, can be damaging to the lungs if we're not in balance and healthy. So what that happens in autumn is quite often people experience coughing, chills and fever, some that wind getting into the muscle layer, and we have body aches and pains and respiratory issues. The next season is winter. Winter is cold, it has a withdrawing, contracting energy, which, if we're not properly nourished, can affect the kidney energy. Now, the kidney energy, if it gets weakened during winter, can cause insomnia, night sweats, and even immune deficient exacerbation of asthma. In winter, nature lies dormant. It's not dead, it's just dormant. And it is processing its energy deep down, holding it and preparing for the eventual emergence for spring, where it can emerge, expand, and release all of that internalized energy into growth or springtime. The Chinese of old were very smart and they were very observant, and they studied the seasons and its effect on human behaviors and personality, both emotionally and physically, and even spiritually. Since spring is a time of renewal and growth, like the budding of the trees, it makes it an auspicious time to focus on releasing the emotions that no longer serve us. Specifically, those emotions that are rooted in anger, resentment, frustration, and lethargy. It's a perfect opportunity to welcome an openness to fresh potentials for health, mental clarity, and emotional well-being. That sounds good, doesn't it? During this presentation, I'll discuss how to most effectively take advantage of the spring season for renewed balance and health by exploring, number one, which organs in Chinese medicine or meridians are prominent in springtime, what foods to incorporate to promote liver health, and how we can identify the emotions that get most affected during the springtime. In TCM, the liver and the gallbladder are responsible for spring and decision making. The liver and gallbladder are at their peak activity during the spring season, making it a perfect time to focus on supporting their function. If both are well nourished, they'll provide strength and protection for the year ahead. The liver and the gallbladder work together to move blood and bile, and they play important roles in the spleen and lung health, which can affect your immunity and susceptibility to seasonal allergies. I touched on that last week in my Facebook Live presentation. The liver and the gallbladder have an influence and affect the tendons, which can impact flexibility and strength. And they also open up into the eyes. So the liver and the gallbladder actually can affect eye health, giving you clear vision moving forward. Since the Chinese were so observant of nature, they took their cues of what to eat for health and balance based on the seasons. In spring, the first color seen once snow melts is the green of grass. I am always so amazed that once the snow melts, there's actually green grass underneath. Then you see the buds of flowers and trees. So the color of spring is green. The flavor associated with spring is sour. Therefore, we can look to nature, once again, to guide us in choosing the optimal foods for health in spring. Why even pay attention to food for the season? Each season has food that works best to promote nourishment for the particular organ in Chinese medicine. So the goal for spring health is to eliminate for health wind, which enters the body. And if you look behind me, you can see how breezy it is. As I was standing outside, that wind could possibly get into my body and create some respiratory issues. It can also get into the surface channels of the face and cause Bell's palsy. In the fall, we had an awful lot of wind and had a significant uptick in treating patients for Bell's palsy. Why also do we want to look at eating for spring health? Is we want to get the energy moving and we want to support the liver, gallbladder, and the spleen. So think green. Think of green leafy vegetables, and we're soon going to be seeing these in the yard, especially the dandelion, which is really good for you, watercress, baby greens, microgreens, and sprouts, and a variety of lettuces. They all help to support the liver, gallbladder, and they have a purifying effect in the body and can easily be incorporated into your diet. The flavor for spring is sour. So some sour foods you want to start incorporating them. You don't want to do too much because remember, again, in life it's all about balance. But incorporating some sour foods or beverages can help the liver move bile, especially when taken warm first thing in the morning. You can do lemon water or apple cider vinegar. I keep a pretty large pitcher of filtered water on my kitchen counter. I keep it room temperature, and I squeeze 2 or 3 lemons or limes into it. And when I buy mint, I actually add mint to the water as well. And I have a tall glass of this lemon mint or lime mint water every morning before I have my first cup of coffee. I feel like I'm putting something clean and fresh and into my body. It's a good way to just start the day. Since spring can still have cool days, and I see it really as a transitional season between winter and summer, it's good to continue eating some warm cooked foods and beverages while also beginning to incorporate some of the grains I mentioned earlier. However, it's really not recommended or advisable to eat a lot of higher fat, heavy, greasy foods because it can weaken the liver by having to process the fat. If it becomes weakened and imbalanced, it won't be able to optimally do its job of circulating energy and blood through the body. When this function is weakened, it's easy to feel sluggish, and the emotional response to that is to feel emotionally frustrated and angry. These emotions can affect the digestive process. It can lead to frequent indigestion, gas, and often a bitter taste in your mouth. If you wake up, you have a bitter or metallic taste in your mouth, then you have some liver energy imbalance going on, too much liver energy. A diet of mainly cooked vegetables, whole grains, and legumes can be helpful, along with foods like lemons or limes, like I mentioned, turmeric, radishes. I hope you have a pen and paper, write some of this down, chamomile tea, and kelp or seafood. So what happens to us emotionally if the liver and the gallbladder energy is out of balance? Since the liver, the yin organ, is responsible for the smooth flow of blood and emotions throughout our body, it's also the organ that's most affected by stagnant emotions and stress. Therefore, liver stagnation or an overactive liver can cause significant emotional buildup. The gallbladder, which is the young partner to the liver, is responsible for storing and excreting bile and governs decision-making, planning, dreaming, and assertiveness. When liver energy is too strong, a person will be seen as very type A, hyperactive, and extremely productive. And you might think, gee, I'd like some of that productivity. But the other side of that quite often is a personality that comes to be more aggressive, pushy, easily frustrated, and angered by other people's behaviors. This imbalance of too much liver energy can cause digestive weakness in the spleen and stomach, leading to bloating, nausea, loose stools, or diarrhea, and the inability to make good choices for what to eat. In cases like this, we treat a patient with acupuncture to calm and smooth and promote the flow of the liver energy, but we also strengthen the digestive processes which are weakened in the spleen and the stomach. In a treatment session, we would also advise on perhaps a herbal formula and some dietary suggestions, such as avoiding too many sour foods and eating more pungent foods. If your liver energy is really strong, you cut back on the sour and eat more pungent foods like mint, onions, ginger, horseradish, chamomile, and black pepper. They improve digestion and bloating. There are different issues that arise from liver-gallbladder imbalance. One of the most common, like I've been discussing, is liver stagnation, meaning the liver energy or your liver qi is stuck. I'm going to go through a list of physical and emotional symptoms, and I want you to think about if any of these are part of what you deal with, or if you live with anybody who has these symptoms. Acupuncture is a great option for any of the symptoms I am going to describe. So physical symptoms of your liver qi, your liver energy being stuck, is a lump in your throat. The Chinese call that plum pit qi. They're very symbolic in their explanation of things. Other symptoms include breast pain or tenderness, especially during PMS, menstrual problems, especially painful periods, allergies, chronic indigestion, neck and back tension, a stiff body, eye issues, and muscle or tendon problems. Emotional signs of too much energy or liver qi stagnation includes having a sense of feeling like you're being held back, emotional repression, anger, frustration, resentment, feeling impatient a lot, and edginess, like you're just on the edge, like you're gonna pop, depression, moodiness, impulsiveness, poor judgment, difficulty making decisions, mental rigidity, and negativity. Now, those can't feel good if you live with that on a regular basis, and they can feel just as bad if you live with somebody who has those behaviors and frustrations on a regular basis. The good news is, and in contrast, and more importantly, is that the emotional signs of health and liver gallbladder qi can feel great. So the symptoms of a healthy liver gallbladder energy flow include a forgiving spirit, feeling a sense of assertiveness and ability to make decisions, being even-tempered, kind of go with the flow. I take an herb called Easy Wanderer, and as the name implies, Easy Wanderer, go with the flow. It's great for smoothing out that liver qi stagnation. Other emotional benefits to having a liver gallbladder being imbalanced is a sense of feeling fulfilled and ability to experience contentment. Being able to let in happiness and joy, feeling inspired and passionate, and a willingness to let stuff go. We have to think, what good is hanging on to stuff? We need to let things go. We need to move on. So those signs of balance sound pretty good, don't they? Yeah, I think so. And while we're sheltering at home, it's even more of a challenge to do things that can help us feel productive and to stay in balance. We're all pretty stressed out being homebound and limited in our ability to live our normal lives. And I imagine that liver qi stagnation is pretty rampant right now for those having a really hard time embracing what we can't control. There's so much that we can't control, but even more so now with the government deciding what we can and can't do. It's really frustrating, and it's for our own benefit, of course, but it doesn't mean that it's not frustrating. So here are a few suggestions to help with stress. Luckily, the weather's been nicer, and we've been able to get outside. So getting outside and getting fresh air, I just think, is one of the most important things we can do to relieve stress. You can exercise, you can meditate outdoors also. It's a great way to clear the mechanism. Increase your movement. Start an exercise program of walking, dancing. You can do that in your living room if you can't go outside. You can listen to my colleague Monica. She did a live Facebook presentation on Qigong. You can do a yoga video and do it at home. You can do these either outside or at home. All of these you can do using videos today. You can get your hands dirty and connect with the earth. Even though we can't go to nurseries and get our seeds and plants, we can start preparing our beds for that when we're able to go out and congregate again. What I like to do when I go for a walk and I go outside is I really like to try and listen to the birds singing. I like to look to see what plants are budding. I feel like every day as I'm walking, there's always a new plant that's beginning to grow, and it changes from day to day, and I like to observe that. I also think a great thing we can do for stress is stay in touch with our friends. And I'm not talking by texting, I'm talking by calling, speak to somebody, reach out, hear their voice, and try and find reasons to laugh. I have a philosophy is that when the going gets tough, we get laughing. Laughing is a deep belly laugh is a great way to get your endorphins flowing, to make you feel better. It's good for depression. Obviously, a lot of people are doing a lot of spring cleaning right now because they have nothing else to do while they're sheltered at home. But you can try something new and different. You can try a new recipe. You can try doing a puzzle that you have never done before. You can build things. I've seen so much creativity on Facebook during this time of sheltering, and it's been amazing how the creative has come out in people. Forgive as much and as often as you can. And that's a lot about letting go of things. You know, if you can forgive, your heart is going to be so much more at peace. Be spontaneous, rev up a sense of adventure. Think about what you might do when you can go out and go into public again. Check off things on the to-do list and walk barefoot to get grounded and to reconnect with the season. Jennifer, our cranial sacral therapist, is going to be touching on that on her next Facebook Live presentation, so look for that. So to summarize, the best way to get healthy and to promote health in the spring season is to focus your attention on liver, gallbladder, and with respect to diet, stress, and lifestyle. Keep warm and protect yourself from the wind. A light coat and scarf will do the trick in most climates. And right now it's been really windy in Michigan. Focus on green, sour, and seasonal foods to help support your liver, gallbladder health. Allow your awareness to be more emotionally flexible. Take a look at where you're just rigid, you're not willing to change, you're not open to suggestions. So think of emotional flexibility. And schedule an appointment with us, even though we're not seeing patients in the clinic. We are doing telesupport sessions. So you can call us at the clinic at 248-737-7126. But in reality, spring cleaning really does start from within. If you would prefer to experience more of the benefits of liver, gallbladder health, now is a great time to start thinking about taking advantage of the spring season to make some purposeful, emotional, and personal changes. I would usually suggest you run, not walk, to come see me or any of my colleagues at the clinic. But until we are able to start seeing patients again, we can and are scheduling free 15-minute consultations to hear where you are, see how you're feeling, and we can make some suggestions with acupressure, diet, lifestyle, and even some herbal formulas we can send to you. It will at least give you a sense of productivity in just making the call, knowing that you're taking a step to promote your own health and well-being as we move forward in this season of spring. So I hope you have found this helpful. If you have any questions and you feel like you really want to talk to any one of us personally, do call our clinic at 248-737-7127. I think that's the number. I hope I got it right. We are Michigan Associates of Acupuncture and Integrated Medicine, and we look forward to seeing you in person as soon as possible. In the meantime, take good care of yourselves. Bye. Have a good day.